Hi guys, I'm Wes. I play Dragon Targear, and this is what you missed in Season 2, Episode 44 of Edge of Legend. As the fight with the gigantic orm begins, Ichi rages and rushes in, going for the kill. With how quickly the creature bloodied Dragon, the party knows the faster they take this thing out, the better. But seemingly nobody could land a big hit on it. That's when Ichi uses her Titan wrestling capabilities to grapple the massive underwater serpent, and Lothier in his shark form sinks his teeth into its watery flesh. With the opportunity wide open, Alona blasts the creature with her divine wrath, leaving nothing but tuna steaks for the party to enjoy. But Dragon is gravely wounded, and the matter of the lost blade is still at hand. With the magical duct tape of regeneration Ichi gives Dragon, he's able to patch himself up enough to proceed to the next room. Light filters in as the floating, bloated body of the dead general lies on the floor of this massive ribcage room. With debris and detritus from the castle's collapse everywhere, the party carefully makes it closer to Koriko's familiar corpse. They notice the evil blade is embedded in rock, and with multiple attempts, it seems nobody is strong enough to pull it out. Then, Alona gets the idea to replace the collected fingers of the dead War King and mend them with duct tape in hopes that it will allow the party to pry the blade free. But their worst fears ignite as the blade of the War King bubbles and hisses in the water. A flash of green light and flames erupt from Koriko's lifeless form, and a roar echoes threateningly. The cavernous room shudders as an undead grin passes Korikos' lips. He has returned as if no time has passed, and he's ready for his revenge on the heretics. Suddenly rising from the fallen rock, an undead Draco Lich hoists Korikos upon its back, and the perilous battle begins. Shianabis and Ichi are the first to strike, but soon enough they realize their normal tactics won't be as effective underwater, as the undead general is able to dodge their every move. Then the Draco Lich soars high above the party, just out of reach, but Lothier has the brilliant idea to cast an explosive cloud around their foe, so when Dragon shoots a fireball into it, the concussive force is enough to deal both of them a heavy blow. When this succeeds, Ichi hops on the back of the massive shark that is Lothier, and they go rushing toward the enemy. But Korikos sees this coming and dodges their attacks, going straight for Chianabis and Alona. When Alona summons her spiritual guardian and strikes at their famous foe, he recognizes her as the one who landed the final strike on him and threatens her accordingly. He also recognizes Chianabis as she sinks an arrow deep into his flesh. When he attempts to strike back, the spirit of Anubis rises behind her, and she taunts the undead with sheer power. Unfortunately, this only infuriates Korikos, and he strikes both Chianabis and Alona down with no mercy. As they both lay lifeless on the ground, Aphra comes to Alona and asks her if she's ready to go. But through the power of her loved one, she comes back to life, gasping and immediately reviving Chianabis. All the while, staring Korikos dead in the eyes and uttering, "Not today." Seeing his friends cut down ruthlessly in combat enrages Dragon, and before Korikos can even blink, he decimates the undead corpse with an overpowered blow from his trusty gunblade. With that, the blade of the War King floats ominously in the water, waiting for one of the adventurers to grasp it. Chianabis, Alona, and Ichi are incredibly hesitant, so Lothier drops the aquatic form and grasps the blade firmly in his hands. That is when his mind is transported back to Brack. But something is different. His home is lush and rife with life. There are thriving crops, thriving people, and a thriving Lothier. But all too soon the vision ends in death and destruction, and Koromat himself approaches Lothier. He offers Lothier the same deal he offered Woodward all those moons ago. A chance to have his heart's greatest desire. Lothier hesitates, tempted by the thought of his once desolate homeland thriving. But ultimately, he refuses the Green King, challenging him instead. The Green King swears to Lothier that he will drown his home for it, But ultimately he refuses the Green King, challenging him instead. The Green King swears to Lothier that he will drown his home, for it is a blight on his precious world, and tells him he will see them all again soon, before disappearing. Lothier comes back to reality, and the blade floats gently out of his grasp. The party comforts Lothier, knowing the pain of having to refuse what you want most in the world. The blade is then swept into Alona's bag of holding, and the party decides to swim ashore. A very shady Arbad, watching them from a distance. And that's what you guys need to know from Season 2, Episode 44 of Edge of Legend. Make sure to tune in Wednesdays at 8 p.m. PST to Nat20 Productions' official channel on Twitch, and become legends right alongside us. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.